Yay! So hold on, let me adjust this real quick. Um, all right, it looks like Susie's here. Hello, hello. All right, guys. Hello, welcome to our Sunday collective tarot reading live chat for the week of today, all the way till Saturday of next week. If you don't know who I am Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. And if you want to learn a little bit more about me, check out that information box down below. It has a link to my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. Also, a link to a witchy shop that I own with James over at Light of Riga, and that is Desert Cauldron. So check out our witchy goodies, a lot of handmade items, and a lot of local artisan made items as well. Also stuff off of our local reservations here in Arizona. But yeah, lots of goodies there. Go ahead and check it out. And yeah, I have all my decks set up here, all my goodies, so we can get started. Also, there's a book I checked out from the library called Haunted Arizona, and I thought I know we're in September and technically Samhain is next month, but I thought maybe just before our reading I could do like a little reading for you guys, maybe a little story. Hey Michelle, how are you? All right, so I have my tea here in my awesome little ride or die mug. And it's a little tea that I created using chrysanthemum, jasmine, and lavender. It's really calming. It's my flower tea. So, so good. Susie's like, story time at the end. All right, all right. Sounds good, sounds good. Okay, so let's go ahead and cast our circle. The reason I like to cast an energetic circle is so that any and all energy that might be blocking our intuition or impeding our ability to have fun and read today, I want to make sure that that is all cast away. So Michelle said that mug is cute. Yeah, you know what? I actually found, where did I find this one? I think it was on Amazon, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna have to get that. And Michelle says, I love story time, and Susie too. Okay, so when I cast this elemental circle, I like to extend it to wherever you guys are as well, just making sure that everything is nice and clear. So I have my little yellow candle here, a little solar plexus energy, little soul energy, since a lot of people have been in a heat wave. Arizona, not so much. We're just always in a constant heat wave here in the valley. It's going to be so nice when we move to the mountains, which, by the way, I have an update for you guys, but let's cast our circle first. So we're going to use that element of fire. Come on, burn, baby, burn. There we go. Just to burn away anything that need not be here at this time. And then I'm going to get my little smudge bundle here. Oh, thank you, Susie. You know what? I got this little like tree of life pendant from healingcrystals.com, and then I made the little neck rope that it's on, basically. But it's kind of cool because it's got a mixture of different crystals within the tree. Very grounding. Because as you know, as an air sign, I have a hard time getting grounded. So, all right. Smells so good. According to James, this smells like cheap weed. So, anyway, I think it smells nice. Okay. Let's go ahead and put that down, and we'll get our water element here. And Susie said, yes, us airheads, dude. Anything I can do to ground myself, mucho needed. Okay, so I have my little monsoon water here infused with red roses, and we're just gonna go ahead and wash away any and all negativity, blockages, energetic muck. And you know, it just like feels good because it's probably gonna be like 110 today, so let's go ahead and douse ourselves in monsoon water. All right, and then for the earth element, I have a wand that I bought from James a while back, before we actually got together. And he makes these wands, which is why, you know, I kind of look to him when we make our wands for Desert Cauldron. But this is a eucalyptus from where he used to live up in the Bay Area, and it's got this beautiful Brazilian quartz on it. So nice and grounded, also very healing. Let's go ahead and cast that circle, calling on our elemental homies. And for me, I'm going to start at the north, which is off to my right. So let's go ahead and call them in. Calling in the elementals of the north to help us to cast our circle today. Calling in the elementals of the east to help us to cast our circle today. Calling in the elementals of the south to help us to cast our circle today. And calling in the elementals of the west to help us to cast our circle today. Our circle is cast, let our work begin, and so it is. All right. Love this one. I love this one so much. All right, you guys. So I have a few decks here. If you guys want to grab your decks, let me know what decks you guys are going to be working with. If you want to slang some cards along with us, which is totally why I love doing live chats. I love to hear your guys' input. It's wonderful when you guys pull cards as well. I think it just really enriches the reading, expands upon it. So when people come across this, channel or this particular, weekly reading, not only am I pulling cards, but they get a whole lot of other messages as well. All right, so I have my Wally's World Oracle here, which you guys can find the link for this down below. And, I was feeling like some of my darker decks, so I brought my Santo Muerte Tarot, and I decided to bust out my Labradorite runes, and I have the Antique Anatomy Ephemera Edition Tarot, and Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment Oracle, and lastly I have the Magic Nico deck. Alrighty. Okay, so let me grab my little notes here. And I want to go into the Mayan date first. So this is kind of like an all-encompassing reading, as much information as we can gather for the week ahead so that we can utilize the energy for our best and highest good and kind of navigate it the way we choose to, using our free will. Okay, so the Mayan date for today is 12 Can, and then we are going to end our week with 5 Ak. So what does that mean for us in 12 Can? Well, Can represents the fisherman's net, the web that connects us all. And we are in the week of Ben. No, not Ben as in Benjamin, a person's name, but Ben means family, it means home, it means hearth. And so we try to connect Ben to all of the daily messages, because it's kind of a running theme. And so when we connect 12 Can with Ben, it's all about taking a reflection on how we've grown kind of within our families, how we've grown from child to adult, all the things that we've learned from our society, from our friends, from our family, those people that we've brought in that we consider family, and reflecting on all of those experiences. What do we want to pick and choose to take with us into the present and moving forward? All the lessons that we've learned kind of within our family, and remember that does include, the people that we've chosen to bring in as family, not just our blood related family, but also remember that this is also our past lives family. So all the incarnations that we've ever had, taking a really deep dive into that, some meditation into that. What areas can we improve on now in the present? Are there any belief systems that we need to question? This is a wonderful time for reflection and self-development today. So, and then Susie also put up James's shop. It's Light of Riga on Etsy. Thank you so much for putting that up there. So he sells everything crystals. Like, he is the crystal dude. So you should see him when he's like walking around the apartment and he finds a rainbow and a crystal. He's like, oh my gosh, you have to see this. And I'm like, what? I come over, he's like, look at that. He's like, look at that. I'm like, he's like, it's a rainbow. So like he is so into his crystals. I swear that boy has a crystal soul. So anyway, yeah, definitely check out his shop. Susie is looking for the link. But yeah, you just type in Light of Riga, all one word, on Etsy. You should be able to find it. Okay, so with that information about today, 12 Can, and that means that tomorrow is the end of our Trecena. If you don't know what Trecena is, it's a 13-day week because the Tolkien calendar is a 260-day lunar calendar that the Mayans used, but they also used a calendar that's closely related to our Gregorian calendar, which is the calendar. So there was two that were used. Fiction lady, hey, what's up? Long time no see. And then, like I said, we're going to be ending the week with 5 Ak, and Ak is representative of law and authority. And let me see, that will be in the week of Kimi. Okay, so a very divine feminine, very I would say intuitive sign for that week. So when it comes to 5 Ak, 5 being a fast-paced number, a number of rapido, rapido. I was actually born under a 5 Ak ball, so hence why I think I'm like race around like a hummingbird all the time. So I think that this is a time to actually slow down when it comes to 5 Ak, taking a look at very intuitive look, a deep dive into the self, and how are we governing ourselves? In what ways have we just kind of raced through and taken things at face value, like, oh, well, you know, that was probably put there by my parents, that's probably some programming, but sometimes we don't check in to take a look at those things, and we just assume that's just me, that's just my personality. And you know, it's, but where did some of these beliefs and these ways of being and doing come from? You know, how are we governing ourselves? Because yes, you know, states and countries, they have governments, but you know, for ourself as a person, we have a choice on the way we govern ourselves. And so maybe don't be so quick to just gloss over, you know, aspects of the self. It's a really good time to take a look at it and see if there are any changes that you would like to make, because you are the emperor, you are the president, you are the prime minister of yourself. You get to do whatever the heck you want. So wonderful time to maybe make some adjustments how you see fit for the country, the state that is yourself. Astrid, how are you? It says hello. It's so good to be with you all now. Hey, hey. Oh my goodness. Yay. So good to see you guys. And yes, I do see you guys energetically, even if I can't see you physically. Okay. Moving right along. I know a lot of people like the herb of the week, because as a little green witchy and as somebody who's always making teas and such, I'm always messing with my herbs. So this herb is passion flower for this week. Fiction lady is doing good, been thinking about you, but could never catch a live. So happy to get it. Well, we're happy to have you. I'm so happy. And Susie, yes, love the herb of the week. So passion flower, you guys, passion flower. Really good. Actually, I like to use passion flower for James's eczema, actually. You know, sometimes depending on, I guess, the foods that he eats or the like anxiety levels or something, you know, he breaks out in eczema. And I found that making a salve of passion flower or making a tea with passion flower in it really helps to calm his inflammation. But that's just like a little side note. Okay, so other physical remedies that can be used with passion flower, they're really good for helping with anxiety, helping with sleep. You know, those of you that have trouble sleeping, maybe you're tossing and turning, maybe make yourself a little passion flower tea. Also really good for those folks going through menopause, wanting to maybe ease and calm some of those symptoms, you know, and not make them so jarring sometimes. Also really good for folks like myself with ADHD, helping again to just calm, helping with focus. And also, if you are one that is suffering from hemorrhoids, passion flower is really good for that. So I put together, it's a little like ointment for just in case anybody needs a hemorrhoid like ointment cream thing. I use it's olive oil mixed with witch hazel, mixed with passion flower, and I have one more herb in there. Oh, it'll come to me. Basically, I you know, infuse the herb into the oil. I put it over a like slow cooker, and it's the slow cooker that I just use for salves. I don't put like food or anything in there, but it's just like for salves and oils that I'm making. So it really infuses into the oil. I strain out the herbs, and then that way it's just like a little spray, or you could put a little bit on a cotton ball and help yourself if you're having trouble in that area. But as far as magical properties, Passion flower is really good for friendships, any maybe spells or incense you want to do surrounding friendship. Maybe you want to strengthen a friendship. Maybe you want to send some love to a friend, maybe far away, maybe a person who is close to you and not so far away. Maybe you want to make a little sachet that they can keep with themselves so that, you know, they're always reminded of your friendship and your love. Also, if you're wanting to do any sort of dream work, maybe you want to put a little passion flower underneath your pillow. So everything about passion flower is all about like calm, calm and focus. So if any of your magical intentions involve calm and focus, passion flower is your baby. All right, let's see, let's go back here. Mimi Lulu, hello, says hello all, still thrilled with my tarot reading. I'm so glad you loved it, which by the way, you guys, I've been doing a lot of readings lately. I am so happy to do them, especially like my mediumship readings and, you know, some of my Rainbow Bridge readings. So yeah, I've been pretty busy having to schedule all my readings. So really, really excited about that. Susie said, pregnancy can bring on roids. I remember with my said, yeah, I've heard that too. Unfortunately, due to all the extra pressure inside your body. Aries, Rainbow Child, oh my gosh, so long, it's been so long. Sherry Bug, how are you, girl? What's up this fine Sunday? Wow, so good to see you guys. Let's have a little bit more tea. And let's go ahead and get into our reading. What say you? Okay, so why don't you guys, if you would like to sling some cards with us, I would really, truly appreciate it. I love when you guys join in, chime in with your own intuition, your own channel guidance, your own downloads, and also let us know what decks you're using if you're going to be using decks. Astrid said, I finally have my own Wally's World. Besides, thank you, Tara, for the beautiful crystal. I always have it with me. I'm so happy. Yay. That's awesome. Wally's World, excellent, party on. Fiction Lady says, I've never explored Passion Flower. I will take all your recommendations. Congrats, Susie, wishing you well. And Sherry Bug says, got put on call for the hospital. Less money, of course, but better mental health. Hey, that's probably better mental health, I would say. You can't put a price on that. So that's good stuff right there. So I'm glad. And Susie's like, Wally's World. Let's see, let's go back up here. Alrighty. So what I'm going to do with Wally's World, actually, I like to pull the theme card for the week. So I'm going to go ahead and pull a theme card from here, and then I'm going to pull a few cards from Santa Muerte, just to take a look into what's going on. And Susie's like, no, I'm not pregnant. Well, you were, but it was a while ago. Okay, so actually, you know, speaking of pregnant, we were watching, was it, so this is 40 or something last night. That movie is freaking hilarious. I know that movie probably came out a while ago with Paul Rudd and everything, but I think it was funny. And it was so odd because, like, you know, the girl in the movie is like, oh my gosh, like she's 40 and pregnant, like that's supposed to be so old. And I'm like, that's not old. There are people who've gotten pregnant at like 50 and on, and it's these preconceived notions about when somebody's supposed to get pregnant. Interesting. Okay, so let's go ahead. Oh, Wally has spoken already. Alrighty then. If you don't know who Wally is, I have a little puma named Wally Walito. And he has a brother named Loki. So Loki is a Bombay cat, and Wally is a Siamese. He's a silver point Siamese. And they don't live with me anymore. They live with my ex, and you know, I didn't want to travel with them all the way to Arizona. I didn't feel that that was fair. Did what was best for them. But I still have Wally's World, which was a deck that was dedicated to Wally before we got Loki. Otherwise, it would have been the Wally and Loki's World. But anyway, Wally is, he's photoshopped into every card. So there he is sleeping under this beautiful tree, which, Sherry Bug, I wonder if this looks familiar to you. This is actually Sherry Bug's picture. So it's a collective deck. So it has places that were sacred to me that I put into the deck, but I also, it opened it up to everybody within our community, and they were able to offer pictures of places that were sacred to them. So it's kind of a, you know, it's like our deck, you know. Let's see. Susie says, I'm pretty good. Preeti, how are you? Sharebug's like, it sure does. All right, so this is our theme card for the week. This beautiful, beautiful grandmother tree. Look at these roots. Look at, so gorgeous, and a beautiful place for Wally to rest down here. So let's dive into this. Let's see what our theme is for this week. Okay, so what I'm getting for the theme for this week is really grounding ourselves into the collective wisdom, source wisdom, God wisdom, whatever you want to call it, that thing that binds and connects all of our essence, our soul, our nawal. And the reason being, doing that connection, really grounding yourself in that wisdom, is with all that's going on in the world. All the chisme, which is the gossip that people may spread. Did you hear about this? Did you hear about so-and-so? Did you hear about this happening in the world? All the things you may see on the tweet on Twitter. All the things that you may hear on the radio, see on the news. There's a blast of information, and we're bombarded with a lot more information than, say, our predecessors back in the 1910s and the 1920s, you know, back when it was just possibly the radio, the newspaper, and then, you know, hearsay. And so now it's, we just have bombardment of information coming at us in all directions. And sometimes it could be really hard to discern what is anecdotal, what is actual fact, what is somebody's, you know, agenda they're trying to push. So it would help us with all of the information that we're getting flooded with, whether it's about our country, whether it's about the world, or whether it's about our private lives, to ground ourselves into the all, the encompassing wisdom of all. And how we do that is getting very clear about our higher self, getting connected with it, getting connected into the heart space, grounding ourselves in that. And it's easier to discern what other people's ego and other people's higher self and more heart-based messages are when we can ground ourselves in that. So if you find yourself overwhelmed with information and all this, like, oh my gosh, did you hear? Then that's when we need to take a breather, take some time. It doesn't have to be too long, maybe 5 minutes, to just kind of sit with it for a moment. Put it through your heart space. Does this sound like anything is resonating with me? Does this sound like truth, reality, or is there more information I need to gather? Maybe I don't have all the information. Maybe I can't make a decision about my opinion about it yet because I feel like I'm only getting one side of the story, a little piece of it. So this is a really good week to take that moment for yourself to gather information. How do you feel about it? Run it through the heart space, run it through your truth, and see how you feel then. Instead of you hear something salacious and then there's that knee-jerk reaction, oh my God, no way, you know, and all of a sudden we got our pathos, you know, our emotions just running rampant, and it may or may not be true what we actually heard. So there we go. Ground ourselves in that, this beautiful wisdom. Thank you, tree energy. Beautiful tree energy. All right, let's see. Let's go back here. Oh, Preeti is from India. Hello. Sharebug's like, I knew it'd be one of my photos. OMG. Dude, I love your photos. Just, especially that tree one. That, I must say, is one of my faves. Although the whole deck, I think, is my favorite. But So, oh, Susie was mentioning to Pretty if you want at the end. Yes, I have super chats and super stickers, so I'm more than happy to pull cards for people at the very end of this live chat with super chats and super stickers. Just let me know in the super sticker and the super chat what your question is. I'll be more than happy to pull a card for you. Astrid said, I've gotten number 33, beautiful tree. Wow, you've gotten the same picture. Really? Really? Dude. That is, yes, card number 33. Oh my gosh, the synchronicity. Preeti said, I share my friends and family and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you. Michelle says, I have a couple of fairy oracles in my Wild Unknown Tarot. Excellent. I love it. Jan, hey, how are you doing? Astrid's like, Susie, I have goosebumps. And Susie, you took the word right out of my mouth. Dude. That's crazy and awesome. That's crazy awesome. Fiction Lady's like, I love it. I'm feeling basic tarot right now, so using Secret of the Tarot. That is so crazy. Yes, 33. And you know what, actually I have been seeing more threes often, like repeating threes, even though I still see a lot of like repeating ones, 911, especially 911, just like off the hook. But yeah, the repeating ones, and now the threes are coming in, so that's really cool. Yeah, Susie taking the words right out of my mouth. Yeah, Astrid's like, the synchronicity, love it. That is so cool. All right, well, let's pull some cards now and see what happens. I'm gonna pull 4 cards actually from this deck, from my Santa Muerte Tarot. And Susie's also been seeing 33s. Dude, Kayla, what up, girl? How are you? Okay, all right, so let's bust out this deck. Let's see what La Santísima has to say. La Madre, Santa Muerte. Okay. Oh my gosh, I have so much to tell you guys. But after we do our reading, I have a lot. Okay, so I'm gonna shuffle up these cards. Let's get a good shuffle here. And like I said, if you guys are busting out your decks, hey, go ahead, pull as many cards as you want. Jan said, I'm good, thank you. Hope you are all good as well. I've been doing fantastic, actually. I have some big news to share with you guys. Like, big. Sherry Bug said, got Night Sun Tarot, Deviant Moon, and Ancestor Spirit Oracle. Nice, the Night Sun Tarot. I think I've seen that one. That's a pretty deck. All right. Okay. Santa Muerte, what you got cooked up for us? Mi Madre. La Madrina. Okay. 1, 2. And I like using this deck because Santa Muerte is so straightforward. Like, she doesn't sugarcoat. But she's not trying to be, hurt feelings either, but just not a sugarcoater. She's a straight shooter. All right. Okay, so it looks like I got my 4 cards here. They are face down, so we'll look at them one by one. Okay, Susie has the Energy Oracle cards. Those are super cool. And Sherry Buck said, yes, Fabio Lestrani. Yeah, freaking awesome artist. Awesome artist. Okay, so let's take a look at these one by one. We have Temperance. All right, already coming in with a major arcana. I can dig it. Then we have the Ace of Pentacles. That's an ace, right? Yes, Ace of Pentacles. I love the basically spewing gold out of the mouth. That's kind of cool. Speaking that abundance. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles. And remember, I was talking about groundedness at the very beginning with Sherry Bug's beautiful photo. And we're coming in hot with Pentacles. Oh, and then we're ending it with the 4 of Cups here. All right. So let's go ahead and just do the logical view here. See if we have any repeating numbers. We do have that 3 that was coming up again with that 3 of Pentacles. We have 2 Pentacles cards. We have 1 Major Arcana with that Temperance card, and we have 1 Cups card, which means we're missing our swords, our communication and our thoughts group, but we're also missing our passion, our fire, our wands group, or action. So just kind of taking all that in, and let's go ahead and channel this baby. Okay, so again, Temperance, Ace of Pentacles, 3 of Pentacles, 4 of Cups. All right, let's see what this means. Okay, I understand now why that theme card came in at the very beginning of really grounding ourselves into that wisdom. Okay, and it literally does have to do with money. It has to do with finances. It has to do with our ability to sustain ourselves, having the roof over our head, food in our belly, clothes on our back, all of our basic necessities. So as you know now, and we got all kinds of stuff happening all over the world, from our friends in India to, all the way here in the United States. When it comes to our safety and security, it feels like, just the energy feels like this, kind of shaky. But mostly shaky because of the information that is being shared. Let's say, for instance, I'm going to take something that is completely opposite just so it makes more sense. Let's say you're going through a new neighborhood, you're going with your best friend, and you see a cool old Victorian house. Oh, that looks kind of cool. That looks unique. And your friend tells you, oh my gosh, dude, don't go in that house. It is so haunted. It is so spooky. Dude, the ghosts are literally coming out of the walls trying to get you. And I hear that there's things that grab you and touch you. Right away now, your perspective of that cute little Victorian house has changed, because you trust your best friend, right? And so you're like, oh, wow, ooh, now I got goosebumps. Now I got chills. Oh, yeah, I never want to go in there. And that's it. We don't look for any more information because, it was coming from what we thought was a credible source, our best friend probably knows. I don't know if my best friend has actually been in that house, or if this is secondhand, third-hand, fourth-hand information that my best friend got, and now is telling me about this thing. So now all my energy is fright and fear every time I look at this house. And every time now that we pass it, I'm a little scared. I have a little bit of trepidation. I might even try to avert my eyes away from this house. Okay, so with that example, let's take it into the present, where we are now, when it comes to what I was talking about, our foundation, our ability to provide for ourselves and our family. Let's say you're doing what you do. You guys go to work, you guys make money, you buy your groceries, you pay your mortgages, your rent, whatever it may be. And now we're seeing stuff on the news. We're hearing stuff on the radio, reading it in the newspaper. Our friends are talking. Oh my gosh, things are crashing, and there's going to be no more money. And if there's no more money, there's going to be riots in the streets, and people are going to be stealing from each other. There's a food shortage. We're not going to have any more food anymore. We're not going to have water anymore. We're not going to be able to live anywhere. Oh my gosh, this sounds like doomsday. Now I'm scared. I'm really scared. I don't know where all this information is coming from or where they even got their information, but just the mere thought of it now, that seed is planted inside of me, and now I'm scared. And now everything I do and my outlook has shifted and changed. Has anything physically changed in the 5 minutes since I heard all that information? No, but now my outlook has changed, and now my house or my apartment or whatever it may be now looks like it could be taken away from me at any moment. And now I'm in this Four of Cups. I'm in this, I gotta, you know, I'm worrying, I'm scared. Oh my gosh, my family. Oh my gosh, will I be able to, you know, afford and do all these things? And if we're outputting that energy, remember that thoughts are an energy, our emotions are an energy. What we speak, you know, hence why people do verbal spell work, that's energy too. And the more that energy gets put out, the more the collective can make it real, even if it wasn't real in the first place. And so this is why it's very important for us to ground ourselves into the collective wisdom. Ground ourselves and put it through our heart space before our emotions get to go all willy-nilly with some information that may or may not be true. We have to ground it in. Where's this really coming from? Where did they get their information? Where did they get their information? Where did they get their information? And what can I do here in the present? Being scared and worrying my head off about something that I don't even know where this information came from isn't going to help me. So this does have a lot to do with our finances and the energy that we have around our finances. What's coming up for us when it comes to our money? And to those paper dollars and those metal coins, what is coming up for us? Probably a lot of shadows coming up with that need to be healed, but also any sort of trauma or fears that are surrounding that. The moment we hear that possibly that could be taken away, and who would benefit from putting that knowledge out there for us, that, oh, it could be taken away. Who's benefiting from that? These are the questions we need to ask, and this puts us into a more empowering position this week instead of a disempowering, it's all out of my hands, I don't know what to do position. So big stuff for us this week, you guys. Okay, let me go back here. I missed some of your comments. Okay, so Susie drew attachment. And she says, wow, yes, financial themes galore. Susie's like, I want the Victorian house. Yeah, me too. Sherry Bug said, I got the 10 of Pentacles. Dude, more Pentacles. Two creatures playing chess. They're dressed as royalty. There is a poor naked creature upon whom the chessboard sits. Be aware of the foundation of your bounty. Ooh, a lot of foundation coming up. And Susie said, attachment card. A woman looks quite ghostly changed. Of course it resonates. The blockchain, yes. Fiction lady got the Queen of Swords, Five of Cups, and the Page of Cups, thinking this could have to do with our drought and emotional issues. This could be personal to me. And Susie says, I've been overthinking the crypto market. Yeah, and Susie was saying the drought, yes. So yeah, a lot of feelings of our foundation are coming up, and any trauma that may be connected to that. So that's why it's very important for us to take more of a, maybe get out of the emotional state for a second, just take a step back for a moment, evaluate the situation, ask the questions, you know, put yourself in the power position, ask those questions, kind of look at things objectively. Where's all this coming from? What's actually coming up for me? How much of it is actually connected to my trauma, how I'm feeling right now? Is it stuff that needs to be healed? And what can I do about the situation? I think that putting the power back into us is of utmost importance. That's actually why the whole single purpose, I do what I do. My readings, my channelings, the things that I make, I'm trying very hard for everyone to see the power in them, because we're very powerful beings. And if we can all get together with that power, dude, it's like, I'm almost thinking like Thundercats, Thundercats, ho! Like that would be all of us. And Susie says, good point. Susie said, I wonder what the woman is chained to. Something to think about. Something to think about. All right. Ooh. These are all good messages, you guys. And Sherry Bug says, I've been pulled recently to begin working with ancestors more. I think that would be amazing to help with foundation. I'm just not sure how to work with ancestors yet. hey, yeah, you know, just feel it out. I mean, you could look at how some other people are doing things, but ultimately, you know, make it your own. You know, whether you want to leave out offerings or maybe just connect to ancestors in one particular area. Say, hey, I need some help. Maybe just work with them in meditation, maybe at the altar. But yeah, there's a plethora of ways that you could do that. And Susie said, I heard a quote, fear is adultery to the creator. This could be yourself, source, Gaia. Exactly. I do feel that fear is like pouring bleach on clothes and putting them in the washer. And eventually that bleach tends to wear down the threads and wear down the fabric. And it starts out as a small hole. And as that article of clothing gets used more and more, that bleach, although maybe the bleach itself is gone, the chemical remains, the fear remains, and that hole gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And so that's something that we don't want to happen. We don't want fear to take over our lives like bleach on clothes. Let's see. Susie's like, on a lighter note. Mimi said, tarot avatar, a passionate queen of wands with dynamite and a volcano, 8 of pentacles. Last was 8 of swords. Maybe the passionate great idea is so close and only being trapped by my own thoughts. That's interesting. And Sherrybug says, I need to get on YouTube and check out people's ancestor practice and come up with, one for your own. Yeah, definitely. I mean, you know what? That's what I love YouTube for, is I love to like go on there for like ideas, especially like for like my off-grid lifestyle. I'm like, okay, like what are they doing? What are they doing? And then how can I do this for myself? So yeah, a great resource for all things ideas. Okay, let's see. I want to dive into the elemental forecast. So I have my labradorite runes here. They look just like this. Labradorite, beautiful. Okay, and what I do with the elemental forecast is we all have elements within our chart, right? Our birth charts, or, you know, as the Mayans would call it, our destiny chart. So going off of Western astrology, even though I'm a Mayan astrologist, what are your sun signs? What are your moon signs? What are your rising signs? And thinking of those elements, you know, fire, water, air, earth, I'm going to go ahead and pull a rune for each of those elements just to enhance the reading, give a little extra oomph. And again, if you guys want to pull some runes yourselves or some cards or pull down some downloads, let's do that. Let's see, who do I want to start off with? And by the way, I got a lot of air in my chart, like a lot of air. Air followed by water, a smidge of fire, absolutely no earth. So Susie is air and earth. I would be air and water, basically, at my core. Let's start with water. Okay, so all my water signs out there, you know who you are. So all my Scorpios and my Pisces and my Cancerians. Sherrybug said, off tarot subject, but you need to watch Homestead Nightmares. It will for sure help. Okay. That's an interesting title, but yeah, I'll watch it. I'll watch it. Homestead Nightmares. Okay. I can dig it, because we're going to be homesteading pretty soon, starting next month. Oh my gosh. So Sherrybug, yes, Pisces, Libra, all kinds of water and air over there. And Susie said the number one will be water. Yes. So also that's probably the number one thing we got to get sorted out when we go homesteading is our water situation. Anyway, yeah, we're starting off with water. And we have the movement rune. Interesting. Beautiful labradorite rune there, by the way. I don't know if I could catch that flash. It's in there, very subtly. Okay, so let me dive into this, what this means for our water signs. Let me put these down. Okay, switch hands. Okay. This is more of a suggestion than I think like a huge message for our water signs. Um, Anything and everything that happens this week, if anything causes you distress, a lot of emotions bubbling to the surface, any sort of feeling of dis-ease, distraught, uneasiness, anxiety, this message here says, remember that everything is energy, right? Our environment, this rune, this labradorite has energy attached to it. My cell phone is emitting energy. Everything is energy. Everything is little particles bouncing around. And if that's true, and let's say we're feeling scared, nervous, distraught, anxious, any sort of emotion that kind of brings us down, when we are in that emotion, we are surrounding ourselves within that energy. It's emitting off of us, but it's also bouncing onto us, you know, and the thing that's making us anxious as well as our anxiety bouncing back. So it's this let's say energy, this emotion bouncing back and forth, basically. What if you merely moved yourself physically, your physical body, move it into someplace else? So let's say I heard some news here at the apartment and it made me highly upset. I'm upset now. I don't feel very good. So I'm now emitting the frequency and the energy of being upset, not feeling very good. That frequency is bouncing back onto me because I'm surrounded by the thing that made me upset. So it's bouncing its energy onto me. I'm bouncing my energy onto it. What if I take my little self and I decide, you know what, I'm going to go for a walk through the neighborhood, maybe over to that beautiful duck pond that we have across the way. And now I'm in a different energy. I'm in a different frequency. I'm surrounded by ducks. I'm surrounded by nature, beautiful willow trees. And now the energy that's bouncing onto me, because the environment has changed, that frequency has changed. And now how I'm feeling may also change. So now the frequency that I'm emitting has changed. And so if you, I know that's kind of like a quick fix to this situation, but it could help give us the reprieve that we need to be more clear-headed about where to go next or a decision to make when we're feeling in that negative space, when we're feeling uneasy, when we're feeling anxious, when we're feeling scared. If we can momentarily get ourselves literally out of that frequency, out of that energy, we might be a lot more clear-headed and a lot more capable of making a decision on what to do next, where to go from here, and we might have much clearer thought on how to resolve the situation. It might be like, oh, okay, well, if I just do this, that basically fixes my problem. Okay, now I feel better. And all we had to do was remove ourselves physically from the situation. So my water signs, this is just a reminder that if anything comes up for you this week that is causing you that kind of negative energy or emotion, physically take yourself elsewhere, change up the environment, and that should give you the clarity that you need in order to move forward, make a decision, plan out your route, whatever it is that you need to do. All right. Okay, I can dig that. Okay, so let's see, let's go here. Sharebook says they go to people's homesteads on the brink of collapse and help them sort out their problems. That is cool. So homestead nightmares. I'm gonna look that up, like maybe this evening. Edgar is back. Forgot it was Sunday. Edgar, what's up, dude? He says, hello, everyone. And he says, Sherry and Susie, how are you all doing? Well, I hope. All right. We hope you are doing fabulous as well. Ooh, my hearing is going out. Okay, let's pull for earth signs. I'm feeling earth signs should come next. Okay, my little earthy babies, you know who you are. My Taurus and my Virgos and my Capricorns out there. Okay, I think I have a rune for you. Ooh, we have the divination rune. Sharebug says, I'm doing good. Hope you are also. And Susie put up that, yes, this one is for the earth signs. So the second rune for the earth signs. And this is actually representative of like a dowsing rod. Okay, so let's see what this means for our earth signs. Oops, let me turn that here. Sharebug says, is your hearing going out a guide thing? Sometimes it's guides, sometimes it's really high vibration beings that really sets off my hearing. It depends on what ear it is, but if it's in my right ear, it's usually like something that's got a lot of energy. So something in the room here has a lot of energy and it's knocking out my hearing. And Sharebug's like hearing, not heating. Yeah, I gotcha. And by the way, it's not tinnitus. It doesn't happen all the time. I've had my ears checked several times. They're clear. My eardrums are good. So, and now I've realized it's more of an energetic thing. Okay. All right. So earth signs. Let's see here. Earth signs, it's really going to benefit you specifically this week to tap into that watery energy. So, you know, all your little Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio friends, or maybe if you have that somewhere else in your chart, it'd be really good to tap into that this week. For some earthy people, they might tend to focus on what's right in front of them to gather their information. Like, well, if I want to pull up the facts on X, Y, or Z, I will look at the facts on the computer here, or, you know, I will look up my credible source, and that's all well and good. We should look up credible sources. We should, you know, do our sleuthing in order to understand information. But also, we have to remember that we're more than just a 3D being, you know, because that works very well in a 3D world, but we're also a multi-dimensional being that has a great connection to source, even our earthy friends. And so it would behoove you to tap into your intuition just as heavily as you tap into your logic mind in order to discern information. Because if we go strictly with the logic, we go strictly with the ego, we might miss out on a couple of things. We might miss some tidbits of information that we really do need to look at, or even the perspective of looking at it could shift and change if we just look at it also with our higher self, also with our intuitive self. So don't forget about your intuitive side, earth signs. You remember, you got to have a balance of the two. Yes, we have to have a good head on our shoulders, so to speak, a good sense of logic and, you know, a sense of direction, but we also have to remember that we have a spirit, you know, within us. You know, we're multidimensional. So let's tap into that as well. And that should help you to discern your environment even easier, more easily this week. So, alrighty. Cool beans, earth signs. Okie dokie. Let's pull for, let's see. Michelle says we got runes last week too. You know, I love my runes. I love my runes. Edgar says, I want to learn runes as well as charm casting. Dude, it's a lot of fun. And Edgar says, my hearing feels congested right now. Oh no. What, is it allergy season? Because I've been having like a little trouble with like my nose. Like sometimes my allergies mess up when like a change of season occurs. So now that we're going from like summer into fall, even though it's still freaking hot outside, it's like the whatever particles in the air like just messes up my sinuses. Just ugh. Edgar's like, got so tired of listening to people's BS that I'm subconsciously turning myself deaf. Oh my gosh. Susie was wondering if it's the roommate again. Okay. Let's go with fire. All right, fire signs. Fire. Fire. And you guys know who you are, my fiery folk. Ooh. Oh, okay. Little victory flag there. Okay, all right, so let's tap into this fire signs. And Susie put up that the third rune is our fire signs. All right, fire signs, let's see here. I guess this is just like a lot about perspective this week. That's interesting. Probably also why that grandmother tree card popped up for us about really grounding ourselves and, you know, connecting to the all, connecting to all of us and our energy and, you know, the collective consciousness when it comes to discernment. Really big on discernment this week. But anyway, fire signs, you are much more apt to get what you want this week, get your manifestations, have things quote unquote go your way if you can open yourself to the possibilities that there might be more than 1, 2, or 3 ways of doing things, which means, again, getting out of the ego, grounding ourselves, making sure that we're connected to our higher self, to the collective energy and the collective consciousness, so that we can open up ourselves to more opportunities, and then we can have, so that we are more able to take action on a plethora of ways of doing things instead of just a singular focused way, like a horse with its blinders on. You know, it's we have a greater chance of achieving our goals and getting what we desire when we have so many different avenues that we can pursue instead of thinking we only have one avenue of doing things. For some reason, sports popped up into my head, and I was thinking of track and field because, you know, as you guys know, I was a track athlete for a very long time as well as a coach. And coaching styles differ, you know, from coach to coach, but a good coach knows that there's more than one way to train an athlete. If you're training somebody for, let's say, a very fast race, like the 100 meters, which is basically just the straightaway on a track, right? It's just the straight side. And one coach could say, oh, well, the best way to train them is just to have them run that race over and over and over again, and they'll just get better at it. Okay, that's one way. Are they going to win any victories? They may. You know, but another coach may say, oh, you know what, maybe what they need is cross training, because I don't want them to overexert their shins, their joints and everything, doing the same repetitive exercise over and over again. You know, so maybe I'm going to have them in the pool, do some pool work. Maybe they can go run some hills. Maybe I can have them doing some plyometrics. Maybe I can have them do some weightlifting. You know, so now they're doing all these different things, and perhaps using their bodies in a various ways, they have a much greater chance of doing even better running that one, you know, race there, that 100 meters. So the same thing with opening yourself up to multiple possibilities while connecting to the higher self. You have different ways of training your eyes, training your body to look at things differently, to see that there are different avenues, different ways of doing things, thus giving yourself more odds or more ways of succeeding in the things that you want to do, instead of saying, oh no, I must do it this one and only way. There's a chance you could succeed that way, but the odds are mostly stacked against you, as opposed to the person that has a multitude of ways of doing something, and having a perspective of that. Okay, Edgar says, nah, I got the back of my hand and a belt for my roommate. Edgar, you crack me up, dude. Sherry Bug said plyometrics. Ugh. Well, you know what? Plyometrics were always my favorite thing to do, the weight room and plyometrics. And even though I was a sprinter and I was a runner, I actually hated doing running for practice. Like, I loved the race part because it was so short. But like just running, I'm like, meh. Laziest sprinter ever. All right, this brings us to our air signs. Air signs, are you ready? Are you ready? right. Okay. Air signs. Saving the best for last. Wink, wink. Sherrybug's like, you crazy lady. Yeah, I crazy. I crazy. Oh, okay. All right, we got the stag. Susie's like laziest sprinter. That's me. Okay. Interesting. So yes, this last one here, number 4, is for the air signs, as Susie has posted there. And this is our stag. Okay. Boundaries. Boundaries, air signs. Boundaries. Really working on boundaries this week. Having boundaries with, especially with the ones you love, your closest friends, your closest family members. Having boundaries. Boundaries are not a way to like keep yourself distant and like, oh, I don't want you all up in my business. Not really in that sense, but more boundaries on a respect for yourself and your energy, your time, your love, your commitment, as well as a respect for everybody else on the other side of your boundary, that you have a love, a respect for their time, for their energy. Um, so this is all about practicing those boundaries, because it feels like this week, well-meaning friends, family, the people that I said that we love the most, may inadvertently put their own shadows and fears into seemingly innocuous information that they pass on to you. Um, Actually, you know what comes to mind in order to explain this? I don't know. This is the way I used to do it as a teacher. I was all about like analogy, symbols. Like, let me tell you a little story, kids. um, but James and I love to watch the Quantum Leap reruns. Like, we just finished watching like all the Star Trek: The Next Generation reruns, and now we're on to Quantum Leap, which, by the way, I remember Quantum Leap being better. Anyway, that aside. um, the episode that we watched last night was about a mother and her daughter, and Samuel Beckett was apparently a blind musician. He was a blind pianist. But anyway, it had less to do about him and more to do about the two female characters in the story. And the mother loves her daughter dearly, wants what's best for her daughter, wants to see her daughter succeed. She wants to see her daughter safe. She wants her daughter to have a beautiful life. Okay? You know, there's no doubt about that. And there's no doubt that the daughter loves and adores and cherishes her mother. But the mother has some traumas. She has trauma surrounding her being left by her husband and being left to raise a child in 1964 all by herself. You know, being a single mom at that time was very difficult. She had to learn how to fend for herself. She also had the feelings of abandonment, being abandoned by her husband. And with all of those traumas, she then inadvertently was placing them on her daughter, telling her daughter what she needed to do with her life, because the mother was seeing herself in the daughter. So she was telling the daughter she needs to go to nursing school because it's going to afford you the best opportunities. You're always going to have money. You're always going to have a job. Everybody always needs nurses. Is it what the daughter wanted? No. The daughter loves music. The daughter wants to be around music. But the mother thought, no, 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 no. In order to protect my daughter, I want to make sure that she's going to be in a job where she is going to always make money, because men will eventually leave you. She's eventually either not going to get married, or she's going to get married and that man is going to leave her. And what if that man leaves her to raise a child all by herself? Now, the mother is placing what happened to her on her daughter, superimposing it. And although the mother has the best of intentions and loves her so much, the daughter didn't have any boundaries. She let her mother just place all that fear, all that trauma on her, and now the daughter's soaking it up and taking it on and becoming her mother in essence. And so this is why this rune, I believe, is coming up for our air sign friends, is because our friends and family, you know, we're all, as human beings, we all have traumas. We all have shadows. We all have stuff that we're healing. You know, that's part of one of our reasons that we're here. But we have boundaries so that we can be more discerning when people are seemingly giving us good advice and trying to help us, but in a way, they're superimposing their own traumas and their own fears onto us, and they don't mean to. And sometimes they don't even know that they're doing it. But when you have a boundary in place, it's easier for you not to soak that up. So air signs, please make sure that your boundaries are up. Not just this week, but just always up. Just so, again, that word discernment comes up, so that you're better able to discern what is well-meaning and what could possibly just be a transference of fear and trauma. Okay, let's see. Let's go back here. Fiction Lady says, it's funny you mentioned athletics. This has been me for fire. I have been trying to get on an exercise program and keep experiencing delays. I was also tempted to draw runes today. Dude, super cool. I love the synchronicities. Edgar says, I do tarot in my mind if I don't have a deck. What pops up in my head, and I got the Page of Wands. Learning to assert your energy and power to push towards your goals. Edgar, I love to do that too. Like if there's no deck, like sometimes I just like have cards popping up in my head. And it says for air, I got Temperance, putting out the negativity to make way for the good, thus manifesting a better life. Super cool. And Sherrybug says, okay, so just shuffled and was thinking about cards for the week. Night Sun had 4 cards fly out at me. Death, Empress, 2 of Pants, and the 2 of Swords. Dude, I love the 2 of Pants. Dude, Death, Empress, the 2 of Pentacles, and the 2 of Swords. Wow. Wow. That's amazing. Dude, see, that's why I love these live chats. We have such amazing chats here. Edgar said, OMG, I have the same deck with me right now. Love it for shadow work. Dude. This is why it's good to get together, you guys. Okay. We are on to our special question. Sharebug's like, I bet it would be wow. Okay, so the special question is, every week I put out 4 questions on my YouTube channel page. You guys get to vote on the question that you would like me to pull cards on, but I also post that question to my YouTube members. So Kayla and Liesel and Heather and Susie, looking at you guys. And I also post it to all of my patrons. So technically, if you're a patron and you're a YouTube member, you get more votes than just the average Joe that can only place 1 vote on my channel. Anyway, this week, we almost had a tie. It came down to 1 vote. So I had to literally count in like all of the Patreon votes, all of the YouTube member votes, and then I had to count up the number of votes for on the public page for YouTube. And the 1 extra vote actually came from Patreon in order to make this question the winning question. So this question won by 1 vote. Anyway, the question is, how can I utilize the upcoming Mercury retrograde? So Susie is our our person in charge of, I think, all things like astrology and retrogrades and planets in alignment. So she could probably give you the dates on that. But we do have a upcoming Mercury retrograde. And so this is us taking a look into how we can actually utilize the energy. Because some people think Mercury retrograde and it's like, oh my gosh, no. For me, Mercury retrograde has never really bothered me, but I was born in a retrograde, so I guess it doesn't affect me all that much. But we could always take a look at how we can utilize the energy, because that doesn't mean the energy is not there. So let's take a look. Okay, so Susie said September 9th, it's coming up for us. So that's actually coming up shortly. That's what, next week? Ooh. Okay, so I'm gonna use the Antique Anatomy Ephemera Edition Tarot, and let's go ahead and pull a card. How can we utilize that Mercury retrograde energy? So let's go ahead and give this a shuffle here. Okay. Mercury retrograde. You know, and every time I see people put the RX for Mercury retrograde, like back in the day before I was like, I understood what all these symbols meant, I thought it was like Mercury prescription. I was like, why is it a prescription? What's a prescription for? Do they sell Mercury at the pharmacy? Okay, let's see here. How can we utilize the upcoming Mercury retrograde energy? Okay, it looks like we have our card. Thank you, Anatomy Tarot. Okay, and Susie said, cool deck. Dude, I love this deck. All right, we have the Eight of Cups. So the Eight of Elixirs. That's a good connection. Eight of Elixirs. Actually, this also looks like, well, I know these are, what you call it, fountain pen or fountain ink, quill ink bottles, but also cups cards makes me think of like pharmacy, you know, that type of stuff. So retrograde, get it? Anyway, let's dive into this one. Okay, so Eight of Cups. How can we utilize this upcoming Mercury retrograde? Oh, booyah. Okay, so normally during a Mercury retrograde, people tend to have issues with information, electronics, you know, like YouTube channels crashing, live chats crashing, issues with things being saved on the computer. I'm thinking more of like the way we communicate, but also our electronics. And with this upcoming Mercury retrograde, if you find that you're having trouble with certain things that you're doing on the computer, like let's say every time your phone or your computer is crashing is just every time that you're on Instagram, you know, let's just say for instance. And for another instance, let's say you're talking to your friend on the phone and you guys are just having a hard time communicating with each other. It's really hard to understand what each other is saying. Like for some reason, you guys have this huge misconnection. This retrograde is trying to show us that the ways in which we are spending our energy are probably best spent differently. So maybe if you're always talking on the phone with your friend, maybe you try a different way connecting with your friend. When's the last time you wrote a letter to your best friend, like a handwritten letter in your most bougiest of pens? Me, I love fountain pens. I'm a fountain pen geek. So when I'm going to write a letter, it's going to be in one of my nice fountain pens, you know, so maybe you try a little old school communication that way, you know, and that might be a lot of fun. Also shifting up the energy. And maybe if, let's say, your time spent on the computer, if it's always crashing when you're doing a particular thing, maybe you've been spending too much time, giving too much energy and attention to that particular thing. And maybe it's shutting itself down because it's saying, hey, stop this. You know, put your energy elsewhere. There's a beautiful world out there. You know, instead of looking at beautiful pictures on Instagram, why don't you go make beautiful pictures? Why don't you go to those picturesque places? Why don't you get out there and explore? So the way we can utilize the energy, instead of saying, oh, the energy is blocking me and the energy is, oh, I'm trying to do it this way. You know, it's like you're trying to walk through a boulder when all you had to do was walk around. You know, there's room on either side of that boulder. So instead of continuing to force something to happen, maybe take it as a sign of maybe my energy is best spent doing something else, or trying to look at things a different way, communicating in a different way than normal. So, yeah. Interesting. Let's see here. Edgar says, my eyes just went to this. When I heard Mercury retrograding, I've been getting Eight of Wands lately, taking swift, wise action. Interesting. And Susie said, why is the word harm in pharmacy? RX retrograde, hence our green witchery. Susie? Pharmacy retrograde. Huh, huh. Food for thought. This is, I'm going to order this deck. Dude, I tell you, it's one of my favorite decks. I have a few favorite decks, but it's one of the ones that I can read with the easiest, I think. Edgar says, because pharmacy heals one thing only to harm something else, thus buying more meds. Yeah, yeah, my nana was a testament to that. My nana literally, she had one of those pill things where it has like the days of the week on it. And I remember that those little pill cases were full, like of every color, like of the rainbow. And it was just so many medications because she had all kinds of things wrong. I mean, mostly she had like diabetes, but she had like all of these things. And she would take medication to counteract other medication that would also take care of the side effects of a different medication. So she like took medication on medication on medication because of the horrible side effects of the medication. And it was just like, there's got to be a better way. That's probably what pushed me to my little green witchy path, early in life. Also, my grandfather on my dad's side was basically like an abolario, which is like a Filipino healer, and he was all about just using herbs and doing things like the old way. So, yeah. um, Let's see. Susie's like, love this message. Edgar said Eight of Wands also has to do with messages, sending and receiving them. Sherry Bug got the Nine of Staves and the Nine of Cups. When you are stuck with Mercury retrograde problems, take a pause, assess the situation, and you will see that there is abundance right in front of you. Just look and see. And Susie said, yes, lots of love and kisses to my Nana. She's now on the other side. Actually, all of my grandparents are. That's cool. I still get to talk to them all. Okay. All right, you guys. We are up. How many people we got in the chat? Ooh, we got a good amount of people. Let's do our viewers poll. So this is where you guys get to vote live during the chat. This is like one of the perks of being in the chat, other than just hanging out with a bunch of cool folks here with a bunch of cool messages. But I have two questions for you guys. Sherrybuck says, do you think most of us had healers in our ancestry line, or do we become one because of a lack of healing in the line? I would have to think, just more with my logic mind, that if we go far enough back into our ancestry, I mean, back when our ancestors, physically all of them, had to live off the land in some way, that I would think they wouldn't have considered themselves healers, but they just knew how to take care of ailments with the body and things like that. So I think that all of us, like every single one of us, have a healer to some degree in our line. This is me just thinking with my brain instead of my intuition. just my logic would say this. Intuitively, I would have to go with that too. I think both my logic and my intuition would have to say that all of us have some sort of healer in our ancestry, and that I think that we can pull upon that. Whether it's our bloodline ancestry or it's the ancestry of our past incarnations. So that could be something when you're doing your ancestry work, like maybe you want to pull on some of that. That would be really cool, I think. And Silver Star, hey girl, how are you? Love the emojis. Says, hey everyone, getting ready to drive, lurking. Lurk away, sister, lurk away. All right, so you guys, I got two questions. First question, if you dig it, give it a red heart emoji, or if you don't have emojis, just type the words red heart. If you like the second question, give it a green heart emoji or type the words green heart. And then Susie, me, Sherrybug, all of us, we'll count up those hearts. We'll count up the number of red hearts and we'll count up the number of green hearts. The number of green, wow, I'm meshing my words. Green or red wins, okay? Edgar says, turns out I'm the spiritual healer of the family. When my family has issues, they come to me for guidance. I'm the only one in my entire family. Well, I guess that's your calling. That is your calling, dude. All right, here's the questions for the red heart emoji, or the words red heart. Where have I disconnected with others in an attempt to do things myself, and why? Remember, we're all a collective. So where have I disconnected with others in an attempt to do things myself, and why? Question number 2 for a green heart. In what way am I being too quick to judge my current situation? What am I missing? And I came up with those questions using the Mayan energies for the week. I kind of thought they kind of coincided with the Mayan energy. So again, red heart, where am I disconnected with others in an attempt to do things myself, and why? Green heart, in what way am I being too quick to judge my current situation? What am I missing? Okay, so I'm going to do a little Jeopardy music. I'm going to bust out Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment. And all right, looks like the voting has started. Silver Star is leading the way, followed by Mimi Lulu. So do 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 do. Boom 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Extra cards. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Looks like the votes are in. All right. Mildred Payne's Oracle Black Enchantment looks just like this. Lots of coolness here. Okay, so let's look back at these hearts. All right. Silver Star's got one red heart. Mimi Lulu, Susie with green heart. Susie, Marble Maiden, Fiction Lady, Sherry Bug. Okay, 5-1. Silver Star says, now you're all gonna pick the green, so I had to be a rebel and pick the red. Okay, and then Edgar's also got the green heart, so 6. Michelle coming in with the red. Okay, so Susie said it's 2 reds and a ton of green. Okay, so green. Edgar's like, no, I couldn't get that Jeopardy song all day last time. You're welcome for the earbug. All right, the earworm of Jeopardy. All right, so it looks like we're going with the green question. And the green question was, in what way am I being too quick to judge my current situation? What am I missing? So, Edgar, it's just going to be stuck in your head. So Susie said, green it is. Green it is, you guys. Green it is. In what way am I being too quick to judge my current situation? What am I missing? What am I missing? Okay. Okay. All right. Oh. Susie says, I have a confession. It never matters to me what wins. You know, me neither. I mean, I think that good messages are good messages, but, you know, I think it's fun anyway. Okay, so we have card number 34 here. We have this person, kind of looks like they're floating or falling, almost like the Tower card. Looks like they're missing a shoe, like, oh no. Sharebug says, there are always good questions. Okay, so let me dive into this one. What am I missing about my current situation? How am I being too quick to judge? Okay, let me dive into this. Okay, first of all, I just want to mention that my body feels like it's vibrating right now. Like I feel like I'm vibrating. So that's weird, interesting. Just thought I'd share it. Okay. In what way are we being too quick to judge the current situation? Because just as I was saying before with, what we were talking about before about people inadvertently placing their own fears, traumas, shadows onto someone else, even though it's out of a good place. In our current situation, and we're all going to have a lot of different situations, but this is just kind of like the main theme of all of those different current situations for all of us, no matter where we are in the world, that we tend to quickly come to a feeling, a thought about the current situation based on how our ego colors it with our past traumas, our fears, our trepidations, our shadows, basically. So, again, we could be going through a financial whatever. We could be going through something with our roommates. We could be going through something with, a work issue, whatever the current situation is for you personally. We tend to be quick to have a feeling about it, a quick judgment about it, like a quick, oh, I'm thinking all these things about it, because we're automatically, and it's like it happens in an instant. It really does happen that fast. We're automatically placing a current, some old shadows, some old fears, some old unresolved issues onto that situation, making the situation seem more daunting and more scary, and harder to figure out than it actually is. So let's say there's a money issue coming up. You're having to cut back on spending because maybe your job is making less money, let's say. Okay, so there is a situation, but the situation can be compounded as more terrifying if you remember back when you were growing up and your family didn't have a whole lot of money. Getting by was very difficult. Even getting a loaf of bread was difficult. Scarcity was a very real thing. And so now that is ingrained in you. When you see a scarcity in money, now it's taking you back to the little 5-year-old that had to deal with the family's money issues. Mom and dad were struggling, and you saw that in them and you took that inside. And so now that's being projected onto the current situation. Now it's like, oh my gosh, now you believe that what's happening now is exactly as what was happening then. So that's being like a quick to judge, that current situation. And so what we're missing is perspective. So that we're not like this person just, oh, falling, free fall. Oh my gosh. So scary, all of it. And so this is where we really do, like I feel like a broken record, have to have a good grasp of our ego voice versus our higher self's voice, and being able to discern between the two. And so if let's say a money situation has arisen and all of our fears are being placed onto it, we need to take a step back. Take a step back. Okay. When I think of this money situation, what is coming up for me? How do I feel? I feel scared. I feel powerless. I feel a ton of responsibility because I have a family to take care of. I've got kittens. I've got kids. I've got all of this to take care of. Okay, so let's take a step back even further. All of those feelings, where is that coming from? You might have to go all the way back to childhood to really pinpoint where those feelings are coming up from. And it's like, oh, okay. So this is actually just bringing up trauma for me. This is bringing up some shadows. I got some healing to do. Okay, well, I can kind of thank the situation for happening because now I know that there's an area that still needs healing. And at the same time, now I can be a little bit more objective about how to deal with the situation, knowing that this particular present situation has nothing to do with what my parents were going through. It has nothing to do with the people I grew up with and the city I grew up in or the low income neighborhood. It has nothing to do with that because that's not where I live now. That's not who I am now. That's not the situation. It's different. That's the past. That has nothing to do with now. So from now, operating from now, okay, I might be more capable of dealing with the situation, figuring out how to work with it from a broader perspective, instead of looking at it from like, oh my gosh, it's going to be just like it was when I was 5 years old. And I was just using money as a for example, just because we had a lot of pentacles come up throughout our readings today. But yeah, so this could be transferred to anything that you guys are going through. Just know that your perspective and how you see it might be just a little bit different from someone else because of our past, because of how we grew up, and we might color things differently. This is also why, when 2 or 3 people see the exact same thing, they're going to actually view it differently. Even though it was the same event for 3 people, you're going to get 3 different perspectives because they're going to color it with their own experiences in viewing that particular situation. Okay. Let's see. Let's go back here. Shervik said, "Wee, yeah, the tarot, the Tower card. Wee." Edgar says, "I'm humming Jeopardy now." You're welcome. Sherrybook said, "Great card for this." Susie, wee. Sherrybook says, "I feel like this card is saying you have to release control. Your situation isn't dependent on your decision, but on the currents of life." Yes. And Susie said, "Currency, current of the sea." Ooh. And Edgar said, "I separated a figure out how to handle things better." And Susie, "Am I weird? I play with words." No, that's awesome. And I think that there's a lot in words. When they say read between the lines, sometimes we should read between the letters in our words, I think. Super cool. All right, so excellent message, you guys. Good choice on question. Good choice on question. All right, so now we are on to our supers. So if anybody wants to do super chats or super stickers, I have the Magic Nico deck. Yes, word magic. Maritime law. Yes. Okay, so Magic Nico deck is here if anybody wants to do those. Otherwise, I have my Haunted Arizona book here, and I wanted to read you guys a little quick, they're just short stories, just a quick little story, kind of get us into the Samhain season for next month, just cause. Yeah, and then we'll go into our healing. Let's see. Preeti said, "Is my son on the right path?" And Sue said, "Great message." All right, so Preeti, so if you want, just go ahead and do a super chat or super sticker, and I'll go ahead and pull a card for you. We'll look into your son and kind of where he is right now and, his life's path. So like I said, I have the Magic Nico deck here. And I believe some people were wondering kind of where the super chat and the super sticker is. I believe there's like a little, maybe at the bottom here of like the video, there's like a little dollar sign. Sometimes it's up at the top. So you just click that, I believe. I don't know. Some of you guys that can kind of see it differently on your end, maybe you can kind of point out like where the super chats and the super stickers are, because it's hard for me to see because I'm doing the live stream, so I can't really see where it's at. And Sherrybook said, "Yes, spooky season is upon us." I know some people have been in spooky season since the last spooky season. Okay, so yeah, Susie says it's got the little dollar. Okay. And Silver Star says, "Message from my past on Dog Killer." Okay. All right. So thank you, Silver Star. Okay, so a message from my past on your Dog Killer. As Susie said, or bottom. Okay. So, was this one? This was your dog, your actual dog. Aww. Because I love to look at doggies. It says it's usually a dollar sign in the right bottom corner. Okay, so Preeti. So if you want, Silver Star is saying it's a little dollar sign, kind of right. Well, this is my bottom right, but yeah, kind of right there. Okay. Message from your dog. A message from your dog. says, oh, Kelia. I was like, Killa. Kelia. Okay. Kelia. All right. All right. Here we go. Okay, I have the card, but I just want to tap into the energy of Kelia. Okay, the image I see, it's kind of a funny one. You know when dogs are all up in your face and they like literally like are licking your face and they're like licking inside of your mouth and licking your teeth and you're just like blah, 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 blah. I'm kind of getting that image of like your dog doing that to you. Like so happy to see you, love you so much, like all up in your face and your mouth. It's just a it's just kind of a cute image. All right. Before I turn over this card, um, it's interesting because Kelia is showing up like like a seeing eye dog. How they're meant to keep their person safe. Keep them from wandering out into traffic because obviously they're blind, so they can't see that there's traffic there. So blocking them wherever there's danger, leading them in the right direction. And I'm kind of getting that from your dog. It's been trying to almost like bump steer you, if that makes sense, like bumping you into a direction that is better suited for you. So it's not making decisions for you. You have free will. You can do whatever you want. But if you've been feeling like almost like you're being bumped into a situation or bumped into like, oh, well, there's something I didn't see before, and like, oh, okay, that's interesting, or like bumped over here, know that that's actually your dog. Your dog has been still trying to aid you from the other side. All I keep seeing is like bumping, kind of like yeah, almost like a seeing eye dog. Okay, so I do want to take a look at the card. Let me go back here. Silver Star says the female version of Killa. And Edgar says, I'm getting dressed as Swatli for the Day of the Dead. Cool, cool. It says, yes, she was a pit bull. And Susie said, love pits. Totally get a bad rap. Yes, they are sweet dogs. I'm glad she had you, Heather. And Edgar said, Bits the nanny dogs. I have a blue nose pit bull. Yes. And yeah, I've known many a sweet pit bulls. They're muscular. They can be big, but they're sweet. It really just depends on the owner. Okay, so we got the 4 of diamonds here. And here we have this little kitty with all these little fishy swimming around. And I think that goes along with what your dog has been trying to do for you. Is this kind of like bumping you into the right direction. Oftentimes dogs, animals have a clearer sense than we do about our particular situation. Sometimes they know when things aren't good for us, certain people aren't good for us, the things that we're ingesting maybe aren't good for us. And it doesn't matter if they've crossed over, they still continue to care for us. They're still there and they still want to help us go into the right direction. So if you've been feeling like that I just happen to be doing this now, or that just kind of came out of nowhere, or like, know that this is Kelia, Lady Killa, just kind of trying to push you in that right direction. And all I keep seeing her as is like the seeing eye dog. Like, I'm your eyes from the other side. I'm really, truly trying to help you. Silver Star said she was in a pit bull fighting rink. She got busted. She wasn't there. I ended up rescuing her. She was the best dog. Yeah, it seems like Like this is like your companion for life. You know. Susie, thank you, thank you. I'll definitely pull a card. Silver Star says, I've been feeling the bumps. She's been here with me. She was super protective of my of my no man could come near me. Oh, no man could come near me when I was walking her. Yeah, that's what I keep seeing. Kind of like the seeing eye dog. Like they are stuck to your side. Like they will block you if there is danger. They will protect you. They make sure that you're headed in the right direction. So definitely still getting that. And she's my baby still, for sure. And Edgar says, if I start getting agitated and anxious, my dog lays next to me or my chest to calm me down. You know, dogs, cats, birds, they're all intuitive that way. It's so awesome. And Sherry Bug says, don't forget to hit that like, folks. Yes, thank you. Fiction ladies, like that is so sweet. So yeah, Silver Star, I just, yeah, just know that all those bumps, all those trying to look out for you still, doing what your dog thinks is best for you is still happening. It's still going on. So just know that, you know, and actually, as I say that, there was a reading I was doing yesterday, and it was about like spirit guides, and somebody's dog that had crossed over had become their spirit guide. That's not always the case, but I do feel in this case, your dog has become one of your spirit guides, because just the way that I see your dog interacting, having that ability to help guide you, this is your guide dog now. This is your spirit guide. So yeah, changed form from physical form into a spirit guide form. That is a pretty honored position. Thank you, Susie. Susie says, please like and subscribe. Silver Stars, could say we saved each other. Thank you so much. You're very welcome. Very welcome. Yeah, and I do believe our animals save us from ourselves sometimes, you know. Silver Star says, I'm gonna cry. You know, our fur babies are very special. I will say that. I do know that. Okay. Susie, I know that you dropped some goodness, so thank you. I could pull a card for you, Susie, if you have a question, or if you would just like me to do a general, I'd be happy to do that too. So just let me know from my little Magic Nico deck. And by the way, connecting to animal energy is my favorite thing to do. Okay, so do a little shuffle, shuffle. Have a little tea in the meantime. Susie's going to do a general reading. No problem. Okay. Okay. What do we got here? Oh, lumberjack. We have the King of Spades. So we have this like little lumberjack kitten here. Lumberjack kitten? Lumbercat. Susie said, yes, thank you. One card general. Dylan, McGoy, and the Lasso. Hello, it says, hi, I'm new to your channel. I'm a local Arizonan. What is up, dude? I'm over here in Tempe. Not for long, though. I'm going to be out of the valley soon. But yay. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. All right, so we have this like lumberjack cat. And Silver Star said, okay, I do have to drive back to work, so I'll be lurking. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Heather. I hope that you have a wonderful day at work. Oh, okay, so you're from Surprise. So that's up north. Well, north from me a little bit. Okay, not too far. All right, cool beans, cool beans. Okay, so Susie, let's see what we got here. Okie dokie. So Susie, you probably have already been doing this, but it feels like this might be intensified, probably with the energy coming up, Mercury retrograde, who knows. But just like trees with their roots, they dig nice and deep. Um, that could be a metaphor for sometimes our programming, the things that we were taught subconsciously and consciously. How we navigate the world, how we live our lives, how we think about people, how we think about ourselves, how we think about our creations, the things that we want to create, all comes from this programming, comes from school, comes from our parents, comes from society, comes from our friends, comes from the television, all this different programming. And although I know for sure that you've been doing a lot of healing, you've been doing a lot of inner work, some of the bigger stuff, some of the bigger shadows, I'm talking about maybe the ones that mainly come from like maybe one or two big main shadows, maybe one or two main traumas, kind of are like the roots of a tree. They kind of spread out, and everything else, all our other little like tinier shadows, tinier traumas are all radiating out from this like one major thing. And this major thing is the thing that needs to finally get cut down, kind of like this lumber cat here. And I know, like I said, you've already been doing the healing, but there's still like perhaps like let's say for me, my self-worth is still one big major shadow that I'm working on. I'm not afraid to admit it. And maybe let's say for you, let's say it was self-worth, and all the other little shadows that we work on, we can work on healing those, but if we don't heal the main one, little traumas, shadows are just going to keep popping up. They're just going to keep coming back like weeds. So now is the perfect time to really, really start chopping away at that big shadow. This is also the same for me, so possibly it's like a similar message. But really start cutting it down, really start working on it, because the work and everything that we have laid ahead for us, everything in our future, we're going to need to be in a position where a lot of that is dissipated and taken care of, so that we're better able to handle what's going to happen in our future. We're better able to see, assess the situation, be in our power a lot easier if we don't have this major shadow just looming and, dictating our emotions and our actions and things like that. So this is a time for big chopping down, big work. Let's see, let's go back here. Silver Star says, I love you all. Hope you know that. Love you too, girl. Billy, hey, what's up? She says, hugs to all. Susie's like, I love it. I will do that. I needed to hear that. Yeah, you know what? I think it's just time for the big stuff. It's time to pull out the big guns and really start chopping that stuff away, because that isn't who we truly are. It's just a thing that needs to cut down. And I say that as much to you as I say that to me and to everyone. So, Sheldon, hey, what's up, dude? Haven't seen you in a while. Billy says, has the week been kind to you? It sure has, actually. Susan said, love you, friend. Love you. And Sheldon, how's it going, everyone? And Dylan said, yeah, totally. So, all right. And then Sherry Bug had a question up here. It says, my ancestors, a message for me. All right. Let's grab that deck. All right, here we go, Sherry Bug. Since you're going to be doing some ancestor work, let's see what, oh, okay. Looks like you already had a card come out, so they waste no time. They waste no time. They waste no time. And here you have a sleeping kitten. Anyway, so this is the Ace of Hearts. Is this cat spitting? Is it snoring and spitting at the same time? That's a very interesting image. Anyway, let's dive into it. Interesting for your ancestors to have that card. everything in flow. Do you think it's a coincidence that you work in a field where energy flows, flowing from one situation to the next, where your healing energy is needed? Just like the blood that flows through our veins, the tears that flow from our eyes, the fluids that flow through our body. We are not unlike the ocean. Flow. When it comes to your emotions, dealing with the flow of life, this is what we can aid you in. For if we built up a dam against that flow within ourselves, within the waters that feed the plants, that feed us, we would surely die. This is a time for flow for you. Let the waters run. See where they might take you. This is where you can call on us. If you can't head to the waters within you and meet us. Flow is all we are. All right, Sherry Bug. Ooh, they wanted to directly talk. I'll say, okay. Okay. So, all right there. All right. Oh my goodness. Susan said, yay, Sherry Bug. So, you know what? I'm going to have a sip of tea on that one. So hopefully that makes sense to you, and maybe it might give you some guidance on where or how you want to start working with your guides. So, your ancestors. Sherry Bug said, holy cow, that was intense. Yeah, so sometimes things directly speak. And if I'm cool with them, they're allowed to. But yeah, so I'm just gonna ground with water here with tea. Sherry Bug said I was getting teary, dude. The waters, yeah, flow. Let it flow. I guess maybe that's where you're at right now, and it seems like that's what they can really help you with. So I don't know if you're in Ohio. You're near the lakes, so I don't know if you're near Lake Erie, but maybe physically go near the water, or like they said, go to the water inside. So that's cool. Thank you, Sherry Bug, for letting me connect with them. That was cool. Okay. All right. Dylan said that was wow, amazing. Susie said intense for sure. Yes. Every once in a while, the people be coming in strong. All right, so I think that was everybody for the super chats and the super stickers. I think. Thank you, Susie. Hey, you know, I'm just trying to be as open as possible, and however I can help. You know, I think I'm just a conduit, but you know, if I can help, I'll do it. Okay. So I would like to maybe quickly read from this book. I do have to return it to the library soon, actually. This is called Haunted Arizona because, as you guys know, I live in Arizona. And just a quick side note. So Sherry Bug said, yeah, I was thinking about going to Mohican State Park tomorrow. There's a river, a cave with water running into it, and it's supposed to rain. Synchronicity. That is so cool. And Fiction Lady said that was awesome. Thank you so much. This was fabulous. You're very welcome. And Sherry Bug, you're welcome as well. Um, so yeah, good things. So you guys know that I have my property up in the mountains, and we were able to get a fifth wheel, a really nice fifth wheel, like a really nice fifth wheel, with the help of James's family. And it's going to be up on the property in October. And I've already bought a few other things, so we have like a storage for our stuff, extra storage besides the RV. But yeah, in October, we officially get to move up there. So now we're working on looking at like how to build our own, like do our own solar, because a lot of people do their own solar, kind of looking at where we can buy our panels on the cheap. We happen to be living next to a retired, was it like, not electrician, but electrical engineer. And the guy that sold us the RV, he's an aeronautics engineer. So we're next to some engineers and we're going to be calling on them for like some help or showing us, like making sure that we don't like electrocute ourselves. So yeah, getting some help with the solar. And also, looking into like getting, figuring out our water, because we're gonna get a well, but the well isn't gonna be till February, so we're gonna have to haul water till then. But dude, we are fully going off grid, and we're gonna have to get Starlink, so that I can still do my YouTube and everything out there in the boonies up in the mountains. So yeah, I'm going fully off grid, you guys. We're going on propane, we're going on solar. Maybe at a certain point we'll do wind power as well, just to get a little bit extra, because it's pretty windy up there. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. And then eventually, start doing the garden. I would love to start doing that, put up some raised beds, so we could start growing our own food and things like that as a supplement to maybe our trips into town, because town it's about a 40-minute drive into town, like for going to the post office so we could drop off our packages and stuff. So we have to figure out all that stuff, but I'm super excited. I'm just saying. um, let's see. Susie said, so exciting. Sharebug's like, do you have a well? Doug, we don't, but like I said, in February, the company that is in charge of most of all the wells in the area, they're going to come out and dig our well. And everybody, all of our neighbors, technically our neighbors, even though they're like pretty far away from us, they've all hit water. And I mean, there's no doubt with all the plant life and all the animals up there, there's water. So we'll be cool. Billy said, ooh, congrats. The time will go so fast, won't it? Yes. And now it's about downsizing. So stay tuned on Instagram at Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, because I'm going to try to sell off some of my stuff, and some of my stuff that I can't sell, I'm just going to give it to the Goodwill. So I'm going to have to downsize on my clothes, on my jewelry, my stuff in storage, everything, some of my witchy supplies. I'm downsizing, but you know what? I want to, because this is going to be amazeballs. And Sherry Bug said, so exciting. And Susie said, you are a diviner, use a rod. You know what? I did. I was up there on the property. I was like, ooh, I bet you there's water right here. So we'll see. Billy said, that's fantastic. So happy for you. Thank you. Susie said, so happy for you both. And Sherry Book said you could probably get a water catchment for monsoon season and a solar still for drinking water. You know what I noticed? One of our neighbors does have a water catchment, and during the monsoons it has caught a lot of water. It's dry the rest of the season, but yeah, I have heard about that. Using solar to kind of process the water so it can be turned into drinking water. So that could be something. Dylan said, my parents and I, share the well with 7 other families. Very cool. Yeah, we have two of our neighbors to the east. They do well sharing, so they share with like some of the people on the other side of the hill and stuff like that. So there's a lot of well sharing out there. Everybody just kind of helps each other. One of our neighbors came up onto our property, come talk to us, and he was saying that that basically, yeah, everybody just like hires each other, like, and it's kind of a bartering system. Like that's how everybody helps everybody. Is like, I do this if you do this, and everybody's got their own expertise, kind of up there. And he said that sometimes what they used to do was like a family, or like for everybody that lives out there, they would have like around the 4th of July, like a community barbecue. Like everybody brings something, and everybody's like traveling from all their different parcels and stuff like that. And I just thought that was like the most amazing thing. That's what I've always wanted, like community cookouts, like community helping community. Like that's my bag, baby. So I'm like, yeah. Let's see. Silver Star said, so excited for you and James. Thank you. Dylan said, Sherry Bug, good idea, but monsoon season is ending this year. Yeah, I think in the valley, I think we're pretty much done. I think up in the mountains, there's a little bit of rain left, but not too much. And Dylan said, Orwell is ending soon for this year. That's what I meant. And Susie said, downsizing is worth it. Yes. Fiction Lady, congrats. I'm downsizing as well. It's good to hear the well will work out. Yes. Sherry Bug said there's a store in Ohio you can order from Lehman's. They have lots of stuff that Amish use, including windmill driven water pumps for wells. Oh, I need to look into that. Yeah, definitely. And Dylan said, we moved out here 6 months after I was born, March of '98, and we were one of the first families out here. Dude, that is so cool. And Susie says, it will save money too, no rent. Dude, yeah, once, because the money I have saved up is for like the well, for like a little storage shed, and like, all the little stuff that we're gonna need up here, there's solar and everything. And then after that, it's just going to be paying a little bit, to James's family for, because they bought the RV for us, and then we're just gonna pay like a little bit to them. So yeah, talk about drastically like cutting back on bills, and then I guess paying for Starlink, and then like my regular bills. But like I don't have a car payment or anything, so it's like car insurance, Starlink, cell phone, and a little bit to James's family. That's it, dude. Under $1,000. That's gonna be amazeballs. I'm so excited. We're gonna be able to save money, and also we're gonna move the RV so it's out of the spot where we want to eventually build our house. So I'm thinking we build our house. Like that is gonna be cool. Yeah, and it's a win-win for sure. Okay, so I have a little story picked out for you guys in here. So gather around, and then we'll get to our healing, and then we'll finish up. But this is let's see. Central Arizona. Like it's broken up into different parts of Arizona, and right now I'm on the section called Central Arizona. And it says Central Arizona is bounded on the north by Interstate 40, on the east by the New Mexico border, and on the south by the line from Wilcox to Oracle to Eloy. The western boundary lies on the eastern and northern sides of metropolitan Phoenix, and then northward to Sleeman. Some of these regions' ghosts are ancient, as those of Montezuma Castle and the fabled Escalante mine, while others date from a notorious range of war of the 1880s. One ghost was discovered by the family cat, while another ghost is accompanied by the phantom of her cat. Sedona, an artist and tourist center well known for its scenic beauty, is believed to occupy an important center in spiritual geography and as a magnet for UFOs. Arizona's very own Bigfoot is alleged to live in this region, and the spirit of a ghost lion hunter appears here as well. In Globe, you'll hear how the devil outsmarted a drunk, and how you'll also learn not to trust snakes. UFOs appear regularly around the Great Meteor Crater, and a classic tale of abduction by a UFO occurred near Turkey Springs. This incident, unlike many similar stories, were observed by eyewitnesses who later passed lie detector tests. So Central Arizona is indeed a mysterious place in the world of the supernatural. Sherry Bug says, there are some good paranormal stories from the res I worked on. Dude, I bet. And there's a lot here too, about some of our local reservations. Okay, let's read this one. Okay, and then we'll get to our healing. This one's called Incident at Turkey Springs. Dylan said this book sounds cool. So it's called Haunted Arizona, and it's by Charles A. Stansfield Jr. And I actually mentioned this book in my newsletter that I just put out on the 1st. So if you guys are interested in the newsletter, check down below. I have a link to my newsletter. Okay, Oh, I feel like I should have story voice right now. Here we go, story voice. Okay. One of the most famous cases of a person being kidnapped by aliens and a UFO took place in Arizona's Apache Sitgreaves National Forest, near a place called Turkey Springs. There, on November 5th, 1975, Travis Walton allegedly was kidnapped and held aboard a UFO while being subjected to extensive and invasive physical testing and examination. This unimaginable trauma caused Travis to lose his memories of much of the experience, although he later could recall fragments of the ordeal. While his story remains highly controversial, there are many facts about the case which make it much more credible than most tales of alien abduction. One is that there were corroborating witnesses, which is unusual in such reports. Another is that Walton and several witnesses to his experiences voluntarily took professionally administered polygraph lie detector tests, which concluded that they are all telling the truth. Travis's boss had a contract with the U.S. Forest Service to clear brush from a large area within the Apache Sitgreaves National Forest. Such brush clearance can reduce fire hazards by removing potential fuel. Travis was part of a crew of 7. They had finished a long day of hard labor and were heading back home when they saw a strange craft hovering above a clearing in the forest. It was described as a silvery disc, 8 feet high and about 20 feet in diameter. Against his team's advice, Travis got out of the truck and approached the UFO. As he came close, a blue-green shaft of light issued from the craft, knocking him backwards and flat on the ground. He lay perfectly still. His workmates, thinking he was dead, fled in panic. They returned soon, only to find him missing along with the UFO. An intensive search of the entire area failed to locate any trace of the missing man. 5 days after his disappearance, Travis made a telephone call to his brother-in-law asking him to pick him up at a remote gas station. It was nearly midnight, November 10th. Although Travis could not recall eating or drinking anything for 5 days, a medical exam showed him to be in good average health. He agreed to a polygraph test at the suggestion of local and state police. His first test was inconclusive, probably due to exhaustion and emotional trauma. A second test later showed that he and the 2 witnesses who agreed to be tested were telling the truth. Interestingly, Travis's brother Dwayne had reported seeing a UFO 12 years earlier. Travis later was contacted by a military intelligence officer who had seen a UFO in roughly the same area. He reported the sighting to his superiors but was told to keep quiet about it. After Travis passed his polygraph test, the officer felt justified in going public with the observation. It is important to note that neither Travis nor his co-workers were eager to take advantage of the media frenzy which followed his reappearance. They turned down many opportunities to capitalize on their stories. Travis did write a book, The Walton Experience, published in 1978. It was republished after the title Fire in the Sky in 1993, the year in which the movie of the same name was released. Today, Travis Walton is a lumber mill foreman in his hometown of Snowflake. And by the way, Snowflake is the town next to where I'm going to be living. So there you go. Nice little story for you guys. Dylan says, did you know that Arizona had its own witch trial? Actually, I didn't. I will have to look into that. It says, I think this is the story that got turned into a movie. Yeah, Fire in the Sky. I actually did watch that one. And Silver Star says, oh wow, I didn't realize that was in Arizona. Fire in the Sky is based off this. I read the true story. And Dylan says, that's the name. Thank you, Silver. Heather says, that movie was all wrong and scary. Yeah. You know, they gotta Hollywood make things, you know. Says, yeah, the movie was turned into something different. So yeah, I thought just a little story time for you guys, but this is full of all sorts of stuff. Not just UFO stuff, but a lot of other things as well, the unexplained. So anyway, let's go ahead and get to our healing. So I got my little drum here that I've made and decorated myself. And if you guys want to get yourself into a nice, quiet, comfortable position, you could be sitting on the floor, laying on the bed, sitting in a chair, but get nice and cozy. And for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to walk you through a nice guided meditation. And you can think about all the messages that you heard today, maybe even some of the personal messages that you guys got. And think about how you want to incorporate those things into this week. Maybe you just want to do one or two of them. It's totally up to you. And as you bring in that intention, think about the things that you want to release, the things that you want to work on. Remember that this theme card here was all about grounding ourselves into the collective consciousness, the collective truth, going into your heart space, being able to discern. That word discernment came up quite a bit. So maybe there are some things that we want to release surrounding that. So Dylan said my family tried to watch it, but somehow it was a different movie the first 2 times we watched it. But then I watched the real one and it wasn't too bad. It's weird how that happened. Yeah, maybe they were switching things around, maybe to make the movie look more credible. But, you know, Hollywood is Hollywood. They gotta sometimes sensationalize things. You take something that was actually true and they make it like scary or something, you know, so Hollywood. Anyway, I will, towards the second half of our meditation, I'll do a little bit of my drum. Let's go ahead and get nice and centered. So if you want, you can do a little, just get nice and relaxed. Make sure that you're sitting up straight, or if you're laying down, that you're laying as straight as possible. You don't have to be rigid, but just so that your spinal cord is as straight as possible. Let that energy flow, you know, Mama Gaia energy up and source energy down into your body. And let's bring our awareness inside our body, just noticing where we might be a little tense, a little sore, maybe places we're more relaxed. And just send a little bit of love, a little bit of energy to any place that you feel needs it. And now, let's go ahead and take a look at our breath. Just feeling that rise and fall of the chest. And feel into that for just a moment. Then what I'm going to have you guys do is take nice full inhales and nice complete exhales. So we're going to inhale not only into our chest, but into our diaphragm and into our stomach. And we're going to inhale that intention as well. Let it fill your body, every piece of it, because intentions are energy. Our body is made of energy and matter. Let's mix the two. And when you exhale, let it be a full and complete exhale, belly button to the spine, because we want to get out everything that we want to release. We don't want any piece of it left inside of us. All right? So think about your intention. Think about what you want to release. And let's go ahead and breathe it in. And breathe out. Breathe in. And breathe out. Okay, continue this breathing and go ahead and ground and connect in a way that suits you. And as you focus on that intention and that which you are releasing, I will play the drum. Go ahead and bring your awareness back into your body. Wiggle your fingers and toes if you have to. Take a nice stretch if you have to. And yawn if you have to. And open your eyes when you guys are ready. I hope you guys dug this. I hope you guys dug all the messages. Thank you guys, the ones that were pulling cards, offering downloads, advice, chit-chatting. All of that was lots and lots of fun. A very good time. That's why I like doing these live chats. But yeah, thank you guys so much. Let's see, Dylan says you should make a drum video where you're just playing your drum because it sounds nice. Well, thank you. That's actually a good idea. Maybe I will do that. I would love to. Dylan says thanks. I'm yawning too. It felt good. And says thank you, Goddess Tara. Thank you. And thank you to everyone. Thank you everybody who donated super chats and super stickers. I really appreciate it. I love pulling cards for you guys. And yeah, I love hanging out with you guys every freaking week. And I can't wait till eventually I am outdoors and I am doing my live chats on my property with you guys. It's just going to be so much more magical and so cool. Silver Star said love and hugs to you all. I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you to everybody who came in. Thank you to all of my subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so. Thank you for all the thumbs ups. Thank you for sharing if you guys are going to share this video. Oh, don't forget to hit the notification bell if you're wondering like when we have these live chats or when I'm putting out videos, because I'm usually putting out more like channeling videos. So yeah, just hit the bell and you'll get notified. Dylan said one of my goals is to own my own land too. Dude, it's amazing. I will say it's amazing. I also want to thank my YouTube members. So Susie, thank you. Kayla, Heather, Lisa, and also to my patrons. So Syrian, Brandy, V, Samara, Kirsten, Kayla, Sarah, who joined us and she's new. Also Grace and Brian, Charles, Jason, and Jamie. Jamie just joined Patreon as well. So thank you guys all so freaking much, and thank you to my moderators. You guys kick gluteus maximus. I love you guys. And so thank you. Have a great day, everyone. Same to you, Sherrybug. So thank you, everyone who supports Tara and her channel. Thank you. All right, you guys, have a fabulous week. Love you all. Oh, and before I go, let's blow out our candle. Make a wish for the week. Are you guys ready? Ready, and so it is, and so it is. All right, you guys, have a fabulous week. Catch you later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.